I don't know.
I think that could be it, because it doesn't look as yellow on yours. And you know, it's okay. We go live. No one's actually watching the second we click live.
Are you sure?
Yeah, nobody.
I have faith.
Well, then
I
they
don't
just
have
get to
faith.
watch us, you know, just chilling for a second. Well, we're just chilling for a second. I'm gonna take a drink of this water. Just out of spite.
Whatever. We have no viewers.
That is some warm water. I just poured it on my sink. I was like in a rush to get out of my house and you weren't even there.
Nope.
Not.
Oh no, I don't.
Not in a
I
negative
am
sense.
mad at myself because I like being early or on time, and it's just unpredictable, the traffic.
But we learned today that 12 minutes is definitely enough time for us to get everything we need to do for the arena and add a graphic on top of it. Welcome to the arena. This is a show where we play esports. I'm your host, Eric.
And
I'm a PhD student at UWM.
I am also a
and
PhD
the
student
Plan
at
H.
UWM in Plan H. And I'm Kelly Breivik, and I don't know when you're done talking.
That's okay, neither do I. That's the fun. So each week on the arena, we play an esports title. Is this going to bother me the entire time if I'm going to switch that around? Alright. We play a new esports title, and we try to learn the at least right now what we're doing is mostly learning the basics of a title, and then we're playing some games, seeing how the players interact with one another.
I just can't see the
Oh,
screen.
yeah. You can move the whole thing over, too. It just helps because I sometimes look at the comments. But, like...
That's the case.
Yeah, there we go. Can you see all right, though?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And we can do, like, this, too. If that's
Yeah.
the way. Anyways, we play an esports title. We kind of learn the basics. And then we go into some competitive games. And then we finish the show by watching some the highest level competition. Because, to be honest, we're just not playing the game at the highest possible level. And today we're going to play Overwatch. Overwatch is a team-based game, as all the games we've been playing this month have been, where you and a squad of your 5 best friends play an assortment of cartoony-like heroes in a shooter, where you have some sort of objective you're trying to complete. You're not just trying to kill each other, though a lot of killing does occur. But most importantly, Overwatch is a loot box simulator. So let's open up this loot box they just gave us. We got an epic.
What?
We got coins.
I'm still waiting for the hyper-American McCree skin.
Oh yeah?
Every loot box I go for, and I hardly play the cowboy anymore.
Where are you?
I'm usually Lisa.
You're usually a Risa. She's pretty slick.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you're saying that there's a really American one of these.
The one that costs $250. I could buy it.
It's only $250. That's pretty cheap.
There
So let's go into training mode. I'm gonna go into the practice range. Sometimes we practice against AI, but we're not gonna do that for this game. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll pick up and we'll play McCree because. All right. So in this game, you are
What?
a
Do you
gunman.
have the,
You have a gun. Nothing's wrong.
Oh, okay. I thought the autosave did the thing.
No. So you can jump. Now each character has a variety of abilities. Kind of like, so the thing I would note about Overwatch, and the reason why we're playing it this week is because what did we play last week?
Not Smash. Was it Smash?
Nope, Smash was 2 weeks ago.
Dota.
We played Dota. And I would say that the legacy of Overwatch as a team-based shooter game, it's kind of derived from 2 other competitive games or genres. One is Team Fortress 2. There's just no denying that Team Fortress 2, which is another game where there are classes and it's a team-based shooter where there's objectives that you want to do. There's just no denying this game is very similar to Team Fortress 2. They even got loot boxes, which are basically hats. I can hit these guys' heads all day, but then I get to an actual game and I can't hit anything.
I'm such a smart type. Like as soon as it's like close combat. So let me talk about the ultimates.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So what I was gonna say is that as we saw as opposed to in like for instance, Team Fortress 2, there's no ultimates. Characters have some special abilities, but for the most part, it's a shooting game, and your class is more determining of usually in those games what gun you're using. and then your stats. So for instance, the heavy in Team Fortress 2, he has a big minigun, and he's got a lot of health. And then like the soldier's got like a rocket launcher, and that kind of stuff. And it's mostly about their guns. They don't have special abilities. But what the other legacy of Overwatch that it's really borrowing from is MOBAs, like League of Legends or Dota. And in the case of this, we see it's because McCree has 3 special abilities. He's got that little thing, which reloads his gun and just jumps. He stuns somebody. And then he's got Deadeye.
I think it's also worth noting that because you have these, you know, the single shooters.
Oh yeah. You can unload by quickly like yeah. And so every character in Overwatch, and the nice thing about training mode is that unlike with Dota, or Smash, where it was really difficult to quickly switch between characters, it's actually very easy, both in the practice range to quickly go, okay, I want to play Diva now, right? But even in the game, you can switch characters on the fly as long as no one else on your team is playing that hero. At least that's the way it works in competitive. I'm not actually sure if in quick play you play as duplicates. Quick play? Oh, you can? Okay,
I don't think so.
So now we see. Oh, go ahead.
Honestly, I've never noticed, but I know that gets played out.
Diva can fly around. She's got this defense matrix. So basically, most projectiles, they won't need lasers because you know you can't shoot because what's actually happening when she bye. And sometimes you die when you play this. Anyway, so then Diva's ultimate is she just self-destructs. She's got a thing. And also, if she dies not from falling on the cliff, she also is in this form, where she just has a little gun, just a pilot gun. So we see that she's got a completely different moveset, way more health, completely different than,
Because, it's, the categorization, and it's the same in Dota. So
exactly. Yeah, Dota didn't have strict categorizations. There's.
Who was I thinking of? I mean, it's a little bit like they do have.
Oh, there were definitely
tiers of,
tanks.
Yeah,
And there was strength and agility and intelligence heroes. But those were more like loose categories, where I'd say like these are strong categories. Like these tanks are like
very tanky.
more. These are. Here's what I would say. In Dota, we had like 100 heroes, and there was like strength, agility, and intelligence like up here. And I know you gotta follow the mouse at home, people. But the strength heroes up here, they had something in common, which was that they were strength heroes. But there's a lot of variety between them in terms of what their roles were, whether they were tanks, whether they were damage dealers, etc. Here, if we see tank, these heroes all fill a pretty similar role of being A, having a lot of health, generally speaking. B, having some sort of defensive capabilities that generally aid teammates. In this case, like Arista's got a big shield, he's got a big shield, he's got a shield. We've seen a lot of shields. She can put a bubble shield on her teammates. Some of these aren't. She's got that shield that we just saw. I love this skin. Diva is definitely my favorite character in this game. Both in terms of character, like the story or whatever, but also just I like her design. But there's also a lot of differences, right? It's not just they all have a shield, right?
Yeah.
Reinhardt, he's got like an actual.
He's
got a shield that he puts in front of himself, but he has to move with it.
Yeah.
Whereas Orisa, she can put down a shield and go do whatever she wants. Same thing with Winston, who puts on a big bubble, and their weapons are different. There's a lot of differences, but these guys have a lot in common, more so than we saw in Dota, where similar categorized heroes might have been. So that's tanky though. Defensive capabilities, they can do damage. It's not like it's still a shooter. They still have guns, right? But their primary role is generally going to be to protect their teammates, as well as soaking up damage, so that their damage dealers and supports can do their jobs. So let's move on. Damage dealers, there's a lot of variety here. This actually used to be divided into offense and defense, which I'm sure you're aware of. But then they realized that was stupid, because it was, and they just made it all damage. Damage heroes excel at what really shooter games are all about, right? Which is shooting stuff. And there's actually a lot of variety here between these different heroes. But for them, what I would say is that for the most part, when they've got an extra ability, it either provides them extra movement or some extra way of dealing damage. So for instance, or perhaps some way of self-defense. So Genji's a good example of this. Genji, he shoots out some shurikens from his hands, and why don't we can click them. We can actually just go in. And he's got the regular shuriken throw, and he's got You can throw 3 at once, which isn't very good from a long range, because right, I'm only gonna hit 1. But if he's like right up next to me, I can hit him with all 3. So that's pretty useful. Then he's got a movement ability, and then he's got a single defensive. He's got this, which would reflect things back at the attacker. But the thing to note is that it only covers him, right? As opposed to a shield, which might cover a bunch. Could be used. And then his ultimate, he pulls out his katana and just murders everyone.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his brother Hanzo here, he can climb walls, and he shoots his bow, obviously. And then he's got super bow shooter mode where he shoots a bunch really fast, and then sonar arrow, which is again kind of a supporty ability. But you can see through walls, as you can kind of see their little outlines. Yes. But so the different damage heroes have different abilities, but generally speaking, their primary role in the game is going to be doing damage. Then finally, we've got supports, and Ana is probably my second favorite character in the game. I really like this character. She's got a cool gun, which she can use to shoot people and poison them, and then they die. And she can also use it on teammates. I was going to heal them. So we'll wait for this guy to take a little bit of damage. And if I shoot my teammate instead, I heal them. The good thing to note is that if my teammate is fully healed, it'll actually just go right. Should go right. Yeah. See, now I'm doing damage to that guy. So you'll shoot through your Alex. Then she's got some. So supports, though, generally speaking, if we're looking at them, they have a lot of abilities that are going to aid their teammates, usually by healing them. So, for instance, this grenade heals my allies, but if it hits an enemy, it does damage and stops them from being able to heal, which is very useful because there's a lot of healing going on. And then this can put somebody to sleep, but if they take damage, they wake up. And then her ultimate boosts an ally. You can't even use her ultimate on yourself, which means that you'll never get play of the game as Anna, because someone who boosted will get it instead. So then we've got, I've never actually played as Baptiste, but we've got somebody like Mercy. Mercy's like the real classic support hero. She does have a gun, but you usually will have this out instead. What you can do with this is you heal enemy allies, you can damage boost them, and then if somebody dies, you can be like, hey buddy, I want to resurrect you. And you can realize. Brave and die. We'll see it eventually. Left shift. We get close to him, we can bring him back to life. Very classic supporting kind of hero. Doesn't really interact with the other team too much in terms of like dealing damage to them or disabling them or anything, but she does do that. And then her ultimate, she flies around like a crazy Valkyrie. We've got like someone like Zenyatta who's a good balance of the two. Discord Orb, that enemy takes more damage from all sources. Harmony Orb, that person gets healed. So you can see how that would be very useful. But while he has these cool orbs, there's always a trade-off. In this case, he's kind of slow and he has no movement options. So we saw with Mercy, she could fly around a little bit, or with Ana, she could protect herself by putting an enemy to sleep. With Zenyatta, you gotta have pretty good positioning, because even though he can dish it out with the best of them, but if you're not able to kill that person, they're gonna kill you, unless your ally is healing you. So that's kind of the difference between the like tanks, damage, and support, is that they have different kind of roles to fill, but ultimately they have the same goal, which is kind of working together to accomplish a particular task. There's different kinds of maps in Overwatch, as opposed to a game like Dota, where there's just a single map. One of them is really clearly lifted from Team Fortress 2, which is the payload maps. In Team Fortress 2, one of the most common things that you'll see is pushing a payload to a destination. Now, the nice thing is that it would be really unfun if you had to go actually push the payload. So the way that the game balances this is just being near it moves it forward, and if it gets to its destination, your team wins. If it doesn't get to it, the defense wins. Pretty simple. Another one is called control points, and what these are, there's two different kinds of control points. There's attacking control points where one team is trying to take a control point, and they usually have to take 2 control points to win. Or there's ones where there's a central control point and both teams are vying for control over that one. And so those are just the different kind of ways that the play field can adjust what's going on. And that's really important for a variety of reasons, but a lot of it has to do with, depending on the map, a certain hero might be really good. So for instance, Pharah she can fly.
Yeah.
This is really useful when you have a lot of open space above you, right? But if you have if you're in like a really cramped space, this becomes not as useful. And so you have to leverage certain heroes' strengths in ways, to the map and stuff like that, which leads to like dynamic gameplay. And I'm not saying that a game like Dota isn't necessarily dynamic, but because you're playing the same map every single game, there's less variety in terms of that. And so that's part of what keeps Overwatch kind of feeling fresh. So what questions or comments do we have after our initial explanation of the game?
I think another thing of note is, especially after talking from Dota, about if there's certain people on your team or on the enemy team, player combos is important. So I'm not sure if you could speak to any player combos. I know the common one is Orisa and fucking Turret Man. I forget his name off the top of my head.
Bastion.
Thank you.
So yeah, there's definitely a lot of different combos. Now there's like a common phrase I hear in these kind of games is a wombo combo.
Yeah.
And a wombo combo is like where you do like two things that just like wipe the enemy team. In the case of this game, a good example of that would be like Zarya. She's got this Graviton Surge, which sucks all the enemies into one particular location.
And then Diva.
And that's really good with Diva, who can, self-destruct. Good with Pharah, who can shoot out a bunch of missiles on somebody. Good with Genji, who can just slash, because when he does a cut, he'll hit everything that's in front of him. So you could just, cut up the whole other team. It's good with a lot of heroes who can just do a lot of damage in a small... Good with Junkrat, especially, because Junkrat's got a big explosive tire that he shoots out. Another example of a good combo might be Sombra and Diva. This is like a lighter combo, but Sombra can disable all enemy shields and stuff like that for a short time. And Diva's self-destruct does not go through shields. So if you're able to disable all the shields, then have Diva self-destruct, that could kill all the enemies. Or, so like another soft combo might be like Ana and Reinhardt. Reinhardt loves to go in and do lots of damage. Ana has a thing that supercharges an ally, makes them more resistant to damage, heals them up to full, and then also makes them really fast. And since Reinhardt's got a big hammer and he's kind of slow, making him really fast is useful because he can go swinging his hammer and stuff.
And same with Lucio with the speed.
Exactly. So there's a lot of different variety. And so the nice thing is, because there's 6 players on each team, the amount of combinations that you could have in a particular game between 12 players is pretty big. One thing to note is that if I take Orisa, even though my teammate can't play Orisa, someone on the other team could still be playing Orisa. And so there's a lot of potentials for mirror kind of matchups and stuff like that. As opposed to where Dota, where you select your heroes and then it disables them for everyone on both teams. And so switching heroes can be pretty important. I think that it's grown less important as the game has gone on, but I know when the game was initially released, the developers were the whole point of the game is that you're switching heroes constantly. And so the balance of that is that, as what we see in the bottom here, we've got our ultimate, and when we switch characters, it drops to 0%. And so that's kind of the negative to constantly switching heroes, is that if you die, you maintain your ultimate stuff, or whatever your ultimate is at. But when you switch characters, you'll lose it all. So that's something to just consider, because ultimates are very game-impacting abilities. And the proper use of them, it can often be very game-winning. In fact, when you see higher level play, a lot of it will be waiting to get ultimates in order to engage with a team fight and stuff of that nature. Is there anything else our audience needs to know before we jump into a game?
No, I think it's good for gameplay. I am going to grab some water though.
Alright. Well, we will. Okay, well, we're gonna go to competitive play. Alright, so we're looking for a game. We found one immediately. Pretty fast. That was really fast. So what I like to do, and when I'm with a team, is I like to just fill. I like to see what other people are doing, and I like to try to see what I could do to best facilitate my teammates. What this often means is that I'm playing a supporter tank, because typically the damage dealers get filled out relatively quickly. I think a lot of people maybe find them more fun to play, but there's also a lot more of them. So let's go ahead and we'll play as Ana, because I really like Ana. We have a really classic composition here of 2 tanks, 2 supports, and 2 damage dealers. That's pretty pretty standard. There's a lot of different comps you could have, but 2-2-2, or 2 damage dealers, 2 tanks, and 2 supports is probably the most common one you'll see. And that's just because it offers good balance. You got some good healing going on, you got good damage going on. You don't have a dearth in any particular thing. There's other combos such as you might see something like 3 tanks, 1 DPS and 2 supports, or even 3 tanks and 3 supports. There's a lot of different combos. Typically, tanks and supports, I don't want to say they're better than damage dealers, but too many damage dealers is a lot easier to deal with. I like that stuff with my allies right now. Shield. Okay. The game gets really chaotic really fast. So my goal here is just to kind of stay back and just heal my teammates. Oh, right if I'm dying. I just need to heal them up. Oh yeah. Well, you can turn that on. Yeah. Alright, so it looks like we might take the control point. We're all alive. We killed a couple of them. So you can tell, like, my goal is to keep my teammates alive. If they're living, I'm feeling good. So, and I really want to stick with them, right? Because I'm not a damage dealer. I don't have good mobility. So I really don't like that we're in this like little small cramped space, but there's nothing I can do about it. Because if I don't stay with my teammates, this is bad. So, like, we'll talk a lot about what are like my key goals. Like, depending on the character, those really key. So, for instance, with this character, those I put that guy to sleep, and I gotta get out of here. I'm not living. Oh, jeez. Yep, he killed me. My teammates did a bad job protecting the actual objective, right? Which is this little, like, box here. And instead, they were really busy, like, fighting over there. Which isn't necessarily bad. But in that case, I maybe was too quick to retreat. Luckily, our Lucio is still alive. And he's doing a lot more healing than me. But I don't consider Ana to be like the #1 healer in the team typically. Instead, she's very good at quickly healing people, which can be its own benefit, as well as she's got some really good utility options. Her ult is very good at buffing allies, and then as well, her grenade can debuff enemies by making them unable to heal. It looks like this is one, so I'm actually get in there. Oh, we had already won. Whoops. Alright, we're doing pretty good so far as a team. We do have to win 2 rounds though, so you see that timer is ticking up to 100%. And like, we have to win this round, and just like with StarCraft, we are like a lot of these. Oh, Lucio was way too far out, he died. Which means I'm the only alien on the team, so oh wait, no, Lucio didn't, that guy. Oh, Junkrat. Really wish I had used my health. So you see me on this good back. Well, I didn't help it. Oh, I died. Darn it, I was flying through the air, I actually landed on the ledge, and then I walked on. Hey, RoboMofo! Been waiting for the Overwatch episode. To see how bad I am at Overwatch. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say so. Let's see. We have 5 alive. We have 5 contesting the point. They have 3. Looks like this is going to be a lost team fight. So I do a quick check. I want to see the ultimates. That's what this was. And so I see that we've lost it. I'm going to back up. Because if I die, all it does is give them ultimate charge. Because you gain ultimate charge mostly by dealing damage or healing and stuff like that. So I'm going to wait for the team. I don't like that they're rushing up. There we go. I'm looking for Reinhardt. He's the bastion. He's who we all rally to and around. Alright, come on. So I want to keep my eyesight on him. That was a bad ult. That's okay. Big monkey on me, big monkey. I tried to sleep him, but I failed. Heal myself. So, yeah, so there you saw me using almost all of my abilities. But bad news is the best. That's true. But yeah, so you saw there. Well, I think what we did well as a team is we tended to really stick together really well, which can be really important. Now there are heroes who like one that's on our team, which is Junkrat. Like Junkrat, who actually really punish you for being too grouped up, because he's got little explosives, right? And if explosive is hitting me and my ally, or maybe 3 of us, it's doing a lot of damage to our team as a unit. And so there's and so that's an important thing just to note. But generally you want to stick together, right? Because the pack survives, the lone wolf dies. Something like that, right? Game of Thrones quotes. There are snipers, and so there are some heroes who really like to be away from their teammates, but in our case, we want to be pretty close, even though we're technically a sniper. Like in terms of the lore. Ooh. Okay, so we got kind of separated. So I'm taking, I want to take angles where I can see my teammates, but the other team can't see me. Oh, he bunks it right when I threw the grenade. Someone's on my head. Oh, I guess I can say ass on screen, but I censored myself. Alright, someone's contesting the fight. So you see that the little meter... Oh, that was really good. I hit my heal right when... So you see there's no ammo, so there's not really a penalty for just spamming your fire. I gotta kill this Lucio, come on. Oh, it's hard to hit. Good and bad. I don't need to kill Reinhardt. He's big. Oh. Okay. Oh, I meant to heal him. Alright, so, Lucio's dead, so I'm healing heals. Which means I'm gonna have to use my grenade on myself. So I use it as soon as I realize I should have used it sooner, but I use it as soon because I want that cooldown to come off so I can use it again. Yep. But since I knew I had to use it on myself, I just don't use it. So I have my ult. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wait for a team fight to start, and I'm gonna ult this Reinhardt. They're going up really far. I can't see. This is bad for my particular hero because I kind of want to stay back. I don't, because I am a sniper. I can kind of take look at this angle. I can't even see the other team. Oh, he's dead. I wish I could heal him. Come on. There we go. That was a little bad. I thought he was closer to death than he was. Ooh, I got bounced. I don't get bounced up here too often with this character. I should have gotten down sooner. I was just kind of excited because my character can't naturally get up there. I have to be bounced off by some crazy dude. But it looks like we haven't lost the point yet. It looks like we have a fight. Come on, Lucio. Nope. Okay. So now I would prefer we regroup here. But this is the thing about team games is you kind of have to play with your teammates. Okay. Oh, he didn't die. Can I hit him? That's the thing about this character. A lot of the other characters passively heal. Like Lucio just kills everybody around him. But someone's behind us. I need to back up. I was putting a kind of hard place there because you'll see when this comes around, there's a lot of stuff going on there, so I should have backed up, and then that's when I got. I gotta heal him. Okay, Ryan's going a little ham. We want to wait. Oh, we have a. Oh, okay. Alright, so I keep moving up. I'm in this bubble. No, my enemies can shoot through that bubble. I can't. So that's a really strong bubble. Same thing with this shield, the allied shields. Okay, where's Ryan? Oh, jeez. I need to stay back. This chunk is really thick. Yeah. Maybe using my grenades more offensively. Up your shield! I was like, so you can see there, I was really taking a risk because he was so low. And it was like, as you know, the thing is just like in Dota or in we might lose this round, but just like in Wait, there's like a... Why do we have a... Alright.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Winston wants to jump on me. She's got pretty good moves. She wants to jump on. Oh, I wasted my sleep. Okay. Oh, I killed Winston. Alright, no, I killed him. Alright. Please, for the love of God, let me heal him up. Come down here and heal me before she shoots me in the head. Okay, she must have... Oh, she died. We should have got her. So that was on the ult there that freezes everybody.
Yeah.
So again, I kind of taking this passive angle where like I can just barely see up this hill. And I don't like Lucian's way up there. You can't heal us from over there.
Okay, so, Robomo was asking, why do you prefer Ana over other healers like Mercy?
I like the skill of shooting the gun. I don't like just sitting there not shooting a gun. I also really like the grenade. I feel like Ana's got a lot of like output potential. Like if you're playing her really well, it's just... I have almost enough for my thing.
You're powered up. Get in there.
Alright, I'm going to heal. I did my best. But we're gonna lose that one. Yeah, so I just like actually shooting guns. I really like the sleep dart too. When you land a clutch sleep dart, you feel really good. Like there's quite a few we lost. 99% to 100. That's really close. Yeah, I can understand why those would be reasons not to like Ana. I just really liked Overkill 2-2. I think Come on, guys, we had a... I totally agree Overkill 225, 2274. We did have that. But me and Ryan were kind of pushed a little too far forward, and they kind of like cut us off, and then they killed half the team, and me and Ryan came in, and then we... But I would say, like, per your, like, inconsistent healing with bad aim, kind of true. But look at, I mean, I got 10,000 healing over... That's pretty good, I would say. My accuracy is also pretty high, 61% scoped and 50% unscoped. 50% is bad in a lot of contents, that's like an F in school, but in Overwatch, I'll take it. Because a missed shot doesn't mean anything. It just means you have to reload sooner. I don't like what we set up. I think this Lucio, I don't want to say he's costing us the beat, but Lucio is like really being so aggressive. He's still alive. I literally thought he died. I keep thinking Junkrat. So this is like a map where we see a particular hero has a good advantage, which is just a Roadhog. Roadhog's got a hook that pulls someone through, and there's a big pit. If you pull someone in the pit, they die. Arissa's also pretty good here because she can take this one with her shield. I do my best. Alright, so let's get both teams have a good set. Not a passive angle. Yep. See, I get stuck in there.
Yep.
I'm trying to think if maybe I should switch off. Yeah. It's a good time to play this game.
I will be your shield.
Alright. So this character can give people armor packs, which is just pretty neat. So I just switched heroes because I felt like I wasn't having a big enough impact with that comp.
That should be better.
But this might have been a bad thing. So when this character hits people with her mace, she heals them. Or heals her allies. Fun fact, this turret is actually owned by this character. My character. Yeah. One second. Armor. My character is not a traditional healer because they can only heal by hitting enemies. So I can't just like heal my allies and they're just chilling out. Not too far. What? That wasn't a great fight. Looks like we might lose this one. But okay. So we just, alright, still 37-37. We just have to work together, and we have to not push up so far. So a good thing, a thing we really want to do in these games, see, like, why did Winston just die by himself? That's bad. But also a thing you really want to, besides just working together, which you definitely do want to do. Oh yeah, I forgot I had a shield. I wasn't using my shield bash there at all. You can tell I'm like having to play this game. Okay, that was really bad by me. I went a little too ham. He was like I went too far in, and then like okay. So I really want to group up with my teammates because I'm a support. I'm not very good by myself. The whole point of my character is to support them. We haven't been working too well together. After the first round we did really well. That's too bad. It looks like we might be able to take this right now. We just bumped her in. That's really good. So I'm gonna back up. Get him. Rally. She just fell down a hole. That's good for us. Alright. Alright, so we take a heal off. So yeah, now that I remembered I have shield bash, I'll be a little more useful. So my character put up this little shield in front of her, which kind of makes her like she's more like a tank than other supports. A lot of other supports kind of mirror damage dealers in a sense. Like, for instance, the Anna that I was playing, kind of like a sniper. She's got like a, she literally has a sniper, right? This character is more like Reinhardt. I got separated from that team and now they're all dead. Alright, so I want to heal this up. Darn it, I missed it. Wait, does it do anything over here? I need that really bad. Kill him. What I can. Oh, they have all their ults. Okay, so we wanted to back up. Alright, we used an ult. I rallied to me in just a second. We're double overtime now. We're basically wins this fight minutes. Yeah. Yeah, I died. I went too ham. Well, yeah, there's a lot of them alive. This looks pretty bad. Get over by them. That's pretty game. Looks like that's game over and we lose. So then we GG. Wait, how do you all chat? Oh wait, you just click it, right? Wait. I thought it was control enter. I guess that's in other games. But that's in Dota. I'll just say GG. And I'll try to figure it out. Tab? There we go. I used to play this game a lot, and I haven't played a lot. Oh well. So at the end, so there's a play of the game, then you can vote for who was the best player of the game. 8 environmental kills is pretty good. But
I also like the aspect of endorsing teammates.
oh yeah, that can be nice too. I'm usually pretty vocal in the chat, so I've gotten a lot of endorsements.
Because like I just think, I mean, the team game I played most is Call of Duty, which is a very different type of
Yeah. In Call of Duty, the objective is to get kills rather than to take a particular point on the map, typically.
Right. Unless you're playing different modes. But I just think of this sort of, like there's a lot of rallying and goal-shotting, shot calling.
Oh, Overkill was AFK for most of that.
Never stop fighting for what you believe.
Funny, I can still see the chat from the last game. Alright, so now, this is like going to be a lot different than our last one. So our last one we were fighting over the same point. And so that leads to a particular kind of gameplay where you're getting really in the other team's face all the time. To me, that's not very good for like a sniper character like Ana, even though I was playing Ana. Now, I'll be playing on a defense map, so they have to push this all around. So for instance, I can set up beforehand, we get still like 10 seconds. Like here. Now I'm hiding behind this, I can't see them, but I can see some teammates. I can poke my head out, pop back in, and we're just trying to defend this. So I can take those passive angles a little more easily, which is good. Like here. Oh no, we fell off! That was really bad. So I can take like an angle here, and I can take some shots. There's actually another Ana. Oh, she's shooting me. Alright, we're gonna take a different angle. Thank you, Moira. But I'm just gonna keep back in. So like another passive angle. But that, like, this is not the passive angles of the show, but with this particular character, I want to be just taking angles where a passive angle is where I can see my teammates, but the enemy can't see me. Because of my character just mostly relies on healing teammates. It's like their primary goal. And so a passive, like an active angle is like this, where I can like see this huge area, and I can just play, I can see all the enemies. A passive angle is like I can't see as much, but I'm safe. Because the idea of like an angle is like, right, if I can't see you, you can't see me. Oh, that's bad. We're probably gonna lose this fight. So I can just come down. I'm gonna keep backing up. Oh, I could have put either of them to sleep. I tried to, but I died. Let's see, how did let's see, that must have got, that was, oh, they got a couple headshots on me in a row. It's pretty good. Okay, so it looks like they're gonna get the first point. The way that these payload maps generally work is that the first one is like the easiest to get, which makes sense. Sometimes you'll shut somebody out and they just won't get anything. Up, we back off. Well, we have a lot of teammates here, but we still can't contest it. So yeah, if we're standing next to it. It's so chaotic. Alright. So the question I have to ask here, who on my team do I want? I wanna buff you, man. Oh jeez, I'm dead. I'm so dead. I need your help. I went down to aid my teammate and he just teleported away, baby. That's how it goes sometimes. Yeah, let's steal super. Shoot. I'm having a bad game, but I'm still leading the team in healing. That's even worse. I've been dead for a long time. So like dying, obviously, there's not like a direct problem with dying, in theory, because, okay. I can't heal through that shield. Alright, so I'm gonna wait for my teammate, and I'm gonna buff. If he gets out there, are we not gonna, oh, right, that's good.
You're powered up. Get in there.
I was hoping to that's kind of a bad opener. He can't heal, go in on him.
Into the iris.
And wow, they're McCree must be. He's got a lot. So now I need to go high behind a wall, keep that one. And McCree. Okay, so I definitely can't be playing Ana because that McCree, I need a lot more mobility. Our team seems to be sticking together pretty well, so let's switch back to Brigitte. And we'll just try to stick close to allies and aid them. Alright, we're playing so bad as a team. And that boss is gonna ult. But he didn't get any. You're kidding me! Oh, I tried to put up my shield and it didn't work! Oh. That's fine. So now we have to try to make a stand here, and we have to do it for 4 minutes straight, and I can't push it even a little bit. So that's gonna be hard. Oh yeah, and it will happen again. Now. Alright. You don't need to push up so far. Defend like over here. Like so, like this is an example of taking an active angle when you really shouldn't. because like they have to get to this payload, right? They have to. That's what they're trying to push. Wow, they just blew all their ults. They did a really good job conserving their ults until they really needed them. So they lost one team fight, came back with all their ults. Ryan's ult is broken. I agree, Kath Maniac. Wow, everyone's still alive though. I thought when I died that was over. Not because I'm so important, I just assumed everyone else was about to die too. Alright, Orisa, I'm coming. You gotta kill them for free. Or the Zenyatta. Somebody die! They're Ana just like, that was so clutch. All those heals by that Ana. That was, my teammates are, their team is so good. I feel like I keep seeing them making really good plays. I think we're gonna get stuck. I think we're not gonna make the first checkpoint. Okay. So the question is, what can I do to help you? Darn. I didn't even get my ult off. Okay. So the way competitive works in these ones is, now we're on the attack, and we have to match them or exceed whatever they did in order to win. And since they got all the way, that means we need to go all the way, and then we need to play again with whatever timer is remaining. What do I want to do? Back on support. I'm gonna stay on. I think that was maybe could have worked. It's just that when you get into like that kind of crazy end game, it becomes like we're all filtering in one by one, just trying to hold on and stop them from pushing. And so I don't know if that was an accurate representation of what it'll feel like to be fighting next to Ryan. And Reinhardt's a better combo with Preheat than because his shield he can throw it up and then you're safe, which is good in these kind of close quarters combat. Than Orisa. Orisa's not the worst, but it just can be more difficult. I need to just get up onto them a little bit more. I got way lower here. Remember last game I had 12,000 healing? This game I have 2,600. So, no, that was over a longer period last game. And I would say that you're bound to heal more in... I would say that these, like, there's a lot more, like, prolonged fights in the other one. So that's an active angle. You can see the whole other team, it can be really bad. Because then they can also hit you. I tried to heal him, but yeah. Oh, you can't do that anymore. Okay, good to know. You can't go through Reinhardt's shield and punch him. You used to be able to do that. Now you can't. With her stun. So that was a nerf that she got. Yeah, we're playing with random with Mr. Robo Mopo. I know that's right. Yeah, this is a stomp. I don't... Why are we going out? I wanna heal up. Okay. You heal up in there, obviously, so. I guess I really like playing characters who can't heal themselves. That's what we're playing today. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to get in. I was holding your stuff. That was interesting. Got him. Oh no. Get her! Why is she not getting back into her thing? I guess because I think she can be killed while getting back into it. Alright, we won that fight though, kind of. We killed our tanks. I was too focused on killing D.Va there, where what I really oh, did I just kill 2 of our characters? Oh no. Okay. No, there's no heals over there, so I need to get their ass back. We lost. Second fight. No. Alright, I have my ult, but I really want to look for Reinhardt. There he is. See, look at like taking. Alright. I'm just gonna beat him up. He's a pro player on a new account. I just killed him. Just kidding. He is really good. Alright, we just got another kill. You see, like, when I actually get in there, Nasty stuff. Alright, we might get to the first checkpoint. This is really like, this is a bad game for our team, but at least... Oh, okay. Put this up because I don't want to get shot. My shield. Killer. And I died for it. I went a little too long there. You see, there's like definitely a balancing act in these kind of games where it's like you want to go in because that allows you to kill things, but you also want to stay safe. I have got #1 objective time on the team, so that's what those little medals mean. Silver means you're #2. Hey, we made it. Gold means you're #1, and bronze means you're #3 in that particular category. All right, let's keep pushing this back. So that took a lot longer than the other team, oh, that was really good. So you want to get picked. So this is what his here, because he pulls people to him. Getting picks is kind of what he's all about. So like, why is that? Yeah, that is our most fragile, least mobile person. I don't understand why he's way up there. Look at how much damage he did. So you see, like, you gotta really work with it. Oh, we stunned each other. That's really funny. Okay. And that was they use a bunch of ults. So you can see there that using ults can be really good for Freeze giving me a headache.
I can do better.
Right, we almost have our ults, but ults are really good. Like they just help win team fights a lot. Obviously, they're the strong abilities that like really determine the narrative of the fight. So using them well is super important. So I want to keep my shield up because I can't heal right now. My shield really like heals stuff like me. Alright, rally me. Alright, that's really good. So now it looks like we're gonna get all the way here. Hey, you know, it could be worse. It could be worse. If we get it pretty soon, we'll actually tie him up. Alright. There's also an idea, like you have cooldowns, right? Like I've got that ability. So generally you want to be using stuff as much as when it's off cooldown. You want all your things to be on cooldown as much as possible. And the reason for that is that if it's off cooldown, you're not using it. And that's bad. Reinhardt died and we somehow managed to like come in and like actually okay, gotta keep pushing the thing. So I think 3 is the max team kill. That's really good. So we want our DPS to kind of go up and try to do some nasty stuff. Oh, let me see you, friend. Let me see you. There we go. Okay. I can heal from very far distances, but it's on cooldown. It's not like with Ana where this freezing is really gonna take us out. Yeah, that's gonna wipe out 3 members of our team, 4 members of our team. That's okay. Alright, how are you doing?
Ready for more.
Too great, but
Is it just like motion sickness from the game?
that and I have hardcore allergies right now, so things are not fun.
Get that payload moving.
Brian said you barely hear.
Alright, yeah, go ahead and turn it up. That's a good idea. Oop, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm up. Wait for my teammate. Oh no. Ah. Someone got the shield. love that we're trying to take this, like look at, they can just spray bullets into this, and we just can't really do much about it. That's like kind of bad. I'd rather kind of go around this way, which is good. That's exactly what we're doing now. Obviously, like, but it just gives us more chance. And turn. So I wanted to turn at the last possible second, because if I turn and shield the other way, I turn my back to them, and they can just shoot me in the back. Ultimately, it didn't matter, because then they froze us. But, you see, like, if you do it right away, if you just turn, then you're just sitting there waiting and getting shot, and you die anyways. Which is part of the reason why that ult's really good. So you want to try to, like, fight, turn at the last second and put your shield up. Like, it's those little things, those little, like, and that's, I think, what makes these games kind of fun. And, like, one of the things that, like, you'll definitely be hearing me say a lot is that, like, feeling, like, the most important thing for any competitive game is feeling like your decisions matter. Like that is by far the most important thing. If you feel like your decisions don't matter, then it's a bad game. Yeah, exactly. And so, like, as you saw in those games, there's so many different decisions to make, both in the minutia of the instant of like, oh, should I go in? Should I stay back? Should I punch them? You know, all of those things. Like, those are all like decisions you need to make in that moment. But there's other decisions like, who am I gonna play? What's our team composition? How's our team gonna move around? And the more decisions doesn't necessarily mean better though, because like in Hearthstone, there's a lot less decisions to make than in this. But that's still a fun competitive game too. But more just feeling like you have good decisions that you can make that matter is really important. So here we can open up another loot box. Let's do it. Nothing good. I mean, we got this. Alright, let's go ahead and play another game. It's only been 2 matches and it's already 4 o'clock. It's easy to get sucked into the rabbit hole of these games where you just play match after match after match after match. I would say that this game, Overwatch, has a really good flow of like gameplay in that sense of just like you just keep going game after game after game. We already have 2 DPS, we have a tank, and 1 support. So I can really play tank or support here. Attack and Temple of Anubis. I'm kind of sick of playing support, so I guess we'll play. Worst spot with it. Will you play Winston? Winston, he's got a big jump. He can throw down a big shield. And with D.Va also can kind of dive in, and she's got a vertical component to her jump, and so do I, so we can get to similar places, which makes us okay teammates. Not great. We'll see. I feel like with Winston can definitely be like a ride or die kind of hero, where like if you're like doing well with Winston, you can do really, really well, because if you're just not, but Winston is so big, he's a gigantic gorilla, and he's really easy to shoot, and so he's really easy to kill. And so if you're like, you can easily just keep dying, especially because getting close to enemies is good because you can electrocute them, but getting close to enemies is bad because then they can electrocute you. And so, like, that makes Winston a hero who you kind of have to play kind of intelligently. I always feel like this particular choke point is such a hassle. Alright, we have like a couple snipers on our team, so ooh, they have a Winston. Okay, so they have a Bastion, Bastion's really good against my particular hero. So I'm just gonna go in. I killed their main source of damage, so that's good. Now I'm going after this support. Now I'm just gonna jump up in the air because I just want to live, and I didn't live. But I did a lot there. So even though I died, you have to remember that like you still accomplished something. In this case, I killed their main source of DPS, which is good. Or at least I did some damage to them. Nice thing about this guy too is I can get back in the fight pretty quick because I can jump, I can leap around, because I'm a gorilla. With a jetpack, not just any normal gorilla. Okay. That was funny. That D.Va was like voice lining, and it came like right with the song. It was like right at the same beat. How did they know? Are they watching the stream? And they don't have delay? What type of master technology is this? Alright, so here I want to dive in from the side. And then this kind of hopefully will inspire my team to come in. And it did. And we killed their main tank. So again, jumping in, good. I kind of need some heals, but let's, alright. Listen, darn it. I wanted to dive in and grab. So he is like, he's pretty fragile. So if I can get on him, that's really good. That's 2. That's all right. So we might get. This is really fast. Oh, excellent. All right. So they might have had a chance for a comeback there because the Rhine was diving in, but our Anas put him to sleep, and that was really good. Yeah, sure. I'll say good round. So people are saying good round in the bottom. I wonder if that was mostly our teammates. No, it was the people from the other team, which is funny or interesting because usually you don't see good sportsmanship from people who just lost as badly as they did. So that shouldn't take as short of a period of time as it did there. Also, I need to move this so I can respond to the chat. That's a crapshoot. I wasn't play comp with the randoms because they can be really hostile. I agree. It's kind of nice today that we just have chat basically turned off. I'm not really communicating with the other people. I will say that I feel like personally I tend to be able to create more positive environments on my team. I tend to be like kind of like a shot caller. I like, you know. Oh wait, I don't really want to play Winston again. Yeah, let's play Reinhardt. So the reason why I switched there is I was doing really well in Winston. So Winston's a real go one way kind of hero. He's not a really good stop you from coming to me hero. And so I decided that it would probably be better if I played Reinhardt, who's got a big shield, just so I can better protect my teammates. But anyways, shoot. So I try to stay really positive in the chat. I try to like be like, you know, call out who's low on the other team. I try to do that kind of thing. But yeah, gender definitely can also have a pretty big impact on like the way your teammates perceive you. I think that there's like negative connotations with female gamers, and like a game where like you need to rely on your teammates to do well, and it can feel like if I'm losing, it's my teammates' fault, and then if I think that girls are worse at video games, you see how all those things get conflate and someone getting really mad in an unjustified way. I want to kill this guy. I'm going way too deep, so now I'm gonna back up. So that was like I made a conscious decision there, which I should have. Oh, kill her! Yes, that was really good. She just floated right into my lap. That's like the most important person on the enemy team to kill. I didn't. I'm gonna die. Yeah, darn it. So the thing to note is that there's a real attacker's advantage on this one because when I die, I go all the way to the other end of the level, and so for right now, it's definitely better for them. It looks like they're gonna take it. Can we defend? We have 2, 3 there. If we're not going to defend, we shouldn't go. No. I want to back up. Just want to keep backing up. We lost it, so now I don't want to die and then not be able to aid my teammates. A member of my team left the match? Oh no. Alright, so I want to put up my shield here. A lot of times people will be rage quitting, but I don't know if that was the case here. Because, oh yeah, he's back, yeah. Because we weren't doing that bad. We had a really good first round. Alright, so I'm going to stick with Lucio because he can heal me and he gives me a speed boost. So I want to kind of stay in this corner. I want to try to live while... Oh, jeez. Try to block... I can't block the electricity from Winston. Alright, so at this point... Wait. How close are we in our ult? That's a really good question. Oh, we're at 100%. Okay, so I was going to switch, but because I have my ult, I can. My preferred tank is Diva. Oh, what? Oh, that was really annoying. It's okay. Alright, now we can switch with impunity. I kind of want to play... I think Zarya would be good here. Because we're having a lot of people die really fast, and Zarya can put bubbles on teammates. And so, I think that might be really useful. I'll put a teammate on somebody who just died. Sorry. Got a kill there. I need heals. We only have one healer on our team right now. That's really bad. And it's not a healer who can heal tanks very well. So really, when you only have one healer, it's like it's better to almost play DPS. You don't need as much healing as like a tank, like the one I'm playing right now. So here, I'm kind of like bobbing between an active angle and a passive angle. They're waiting for their whole team. You see on the reticle, if I actually did hit somebody here, it would like flash up some way. Oh. Alright. Ooh, good little wall to block Bob from doing something. I need a teammate to give a bubble to. I feel like I did my best there. I feel like I did a lot of supporting my teammates, but I wasn't doing very good on damage. I think though I was definitely doing better than when I was Ryan. And we've definitely curbed a lot of time. So even if they take it, they're gonna have a lot less time to take it after for the second round of stuff. So this is a good time to talk about there's different kinds of aim in Overwatch. Where's my teammates? Alright. There's tracking, which would be like this. So like I have to kind of follow an enemy around like that. And then there's flick aim. Flick are like where you're just shooting out a single shot. So you can like, it doesn't really matter if I'm even looking, right? I could just like flick up. Well, I give Kelly just the worst headache of her life. She's not looking right now. But I was like flicking around like a madman. But ooh. My Graviton Surge like landed on all of them, but unfortunately I didn't have any teammates to follow up, and that can happen sometimes. Let's see. We won the fight though? Oh, you Bastion, you. Alright. What's my damage? Only 892 damage block. You know what? We're gonna switch off Zarya. This has not been working out very well. Even though we're winning, it's not because I'm playing well. We'll play as Orisa. And that's part of the decision making is like sometimes making good decisions means even though you're winning, like changing it up. She does a lot more damage. I just like single killed that. I used my she's got a damage reduction ability, and I used it too late there. It's the easiest to forget about because it's not really like an active ability. Like it doesn't change anything about what's going on. It just makes you a little beefier, and those kind of abilities I find are easier to forget about.
I feel like her projectile gravity block is not that.
I like it. You're almost dead. I'm just gonna punch you to death. Oh, I did punch him. I did punch him to death. I'll have to narrate the game so that you can still give commentary. All right. I was really happy when I killed that guy.
Or was it like the post-mortem?
No, I got the Rhine down to really low health. And then we won. Genji. So I had him on a really low health, but he had just a sliver left, and he was backed in the corner, and it was just me and him. And so he could just sit there and hold it up, and I can't shoot him. So I just jumped on him and I punched him, and then Genji came behind and cut me up with his katana. Is this the play where I punched him? No, no. That was our Genji. I thought it was their Genji. Alright, let's see what time is it. 4:11, we got time for another. I'll give it to our Genji. I felt like he was really balling out. I received sportsmanship, and I received a shot caller, which is interesting because I didn't call any shots.
No.
They must be watching the stream. You goof, you got a shield. I don't know what that's referring to, but I totally believe I was probably misplaying when you said that. I have no illusions of me being not very good at this game, but if my highest rank is platinum, I got up to like 2,700 platinum once, and that was pretty good. That was before Ana came out. And then, oh no, that was after, but that was before I got really into Ana. Once I got into Ana, I started getting way worse at this game. Because she's really hard. But I like playing her more than I like winning. And I win with her sometimes too, it's not like it's all on me. What is any out of this game? Or I could play, yeah, we have 2 tanks. Alright, so as long as Mac Chicken plays, so one thing you can do is you can like look at their profile and be like, what does this guy play? Oh, he's private, well, so you can say like, you know, sometimes you can do that to be like, I don't want to take their good hero. Uh-oh. So our band ordered tapes because we're releasing an album this week, and we bought like a bunch, and half of them, like the left channel's not working, like there's no audio coming out of the left channel. So it's okay though, because I'm sure that the guy we bought them from is, you know, he'll give us, you know, tapes for, you know, he'll adjust it or whatever. But it's kind of sucks. We released a video today too. All right. Now we played a game on this one earlier and we got trashed. So we'll see if that happens again. Remember, completely different teammates. The only thing similar is likely that I'm in the game. Okay. So I'm taking like a passive angle here. I want to like find somebody and then shoot. Is it? Does it look real? For you guys watching, does it look really trashy on your end?
Oh no, I mean lab between us and...
Oh! I thought you meant like a bad frame rate.
No.
I'll take credit for that, even though I wasn't actually paying attention when we were in that fight. I'm not. This character has. Oh! Yeah! I just sniped Mercy out of the air with Zenyatta. That felt really good. But I was about to say, this character is very different. So so like, just like how there's flick aim, where like you flick and you shoot, which this character is a flick aim. And then there's tracking, where you kind of just are following somebody. There's also different kinds of guns. So for instance, there's hit scan guns. Oh, you guys can do it. It's only 1 meter. Oh, if you don't get, it's really bad when you don't get it. She got booped down there. I probably wouldn't have died if my teammate didn't boop her.
Can you explain booping? Oh, might not know.
Boop?
Yeah.
Booping is where like you boop somebody so they like bounce. We made it. It's a very technical term. But anyways, and so what was that? That must have been the music. I was like, is that someone talking in the game? So, ooh, I don't even have silver healing right now. That's okay. Rodok can heal himself. So anyways, there's a hit scan, and then there's projectile. So he shoots out these orbs, and they actually have to travel through the air before they hit something. So you have to lead your shots, kind of like, what's it called? Oh, I don't want to be in that. Okay. Kind of like in, oh my gosh, what kind of... It's where like you have a shotgun and you're shooting clay pigeons in the air. Why can't I remember? Skeet shooting. Oh, Yeah, so you have to be... Oh, that guy can kill me really easily. Gotta keep backing up. Just keep shooting him. Heal my teammate. Ooh. Alright, I can't believe I got out of that one alive. So I have to like lead my shots a little bit in order to heal my teammate. And so, as opposed to, there's hit scan weapons, which just, wherever you're aiming, they shoot right then. And that's one of the very unique things about this game, is that there's a mix of hit scan and non-hit scan weapons, which is like, it's just weird. Like, there's very few other games where that's the case. I guess not that few other, like, I'm thinking like if we think back to the OG, like, competitive shooters like Quake, I guess they did have rocket launchers and machine guns. So, I take that back. It just feels unique in this game for some reason to me. Maybe it's because like there's just so many characters with so many different weapons, and there's so many different projectiles and stuff like that. Oh, we went up to gold healing. Which is good. Alright. Hey, Caspic. Oh, okay.
I can watch it on the phone screen. I can't watch it on the
Okay. That's okay. It's a really big screen, I can understand. Ooh, we got a clutch kill there. That was pretty good that this came up. Oh, he's so low. Here we got him. Alright, that's... Just get there? Okay, so the fire in the hole means that a bad thing's about to happen. So you gotta take audio keys in this game. There it is. So I want to stay away from that. It did kill our Genji, which is unfortunate. I don't think that's enough for us to stop pushing, because if we were to catch a kill right now, especially with Roadhog, that would be so good. Alright. I always want to have my Discord orb. Like in this case, like, never have an ability off cooldown. So like, I've got like Discord orb. Oh! Gotta heal him. I got Discord orb on that guy. Now I can get it on that guy. Just keep it always on. When I play, like, I'm probably the most annoying person to play with. When I play with, when I play on comms with this character, because I will literally call on every Discord. I'll be like, on a Discord, Junkrat Discord, Junkrat on me. You know, I would just be talking the whole time. I talk up a storm. I just, you know.
Brian's saying your Reinhardt can still use some of that spam damage.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He wasn't holding up his shield as much. But then again, we don't have a great Reinhardt comp, because like, Genji and... Oh, we have a Fair now, but before we had a Genji, the Genji and the Reaper don't really stay behind. Why did I jump down? that was just a bad play by me. So I'm going to charge this up. I know that there's a guy there. Come on out. Darn it. Alright. It's worth a shot. So now we're going to try to take high ground. High ground's really useful because, just like with a passive angle, I try to heal you friend. Oh, I'm going to die down here. This was a bad decision. It's really important, I think, with all competitive games, to recognize when you've made a bad decision and, like, vocalize that in your head a little bit. Like, because, especially in a game like Overwatch, where there's 11 other players in the game, it can be really, easy to just be like, oh, I lost because my Reinhardt didn't eat the spam damage, or because X, Y, and Z. And I find that focusing on my mistakes really helps me. I'm gonna save you. That sounds about right. That was really bad. I saved our Reinhardt, but we didn't get anything off of that. Usually, I've got a pretty reactive ult, so I want to use it like, oh, they're using a big ult. I'll use my ult now, something like that. They're so low. So here you can see I'm like kind of staying back, trying to. I did get the Discord orb on the last possible second. He's gonna kill me, yeah. That was inevitable. We might win this fight though. No, we're having a lot of trouble closing this game out. Oh, 4 people on my team are all together. That's interesting. Oh, we are pushing the thing. Is Moira alive? She is. She's gaining ult, which is good. I really need to get there fast, heal up my teammates because they're all in the yellow. And Moira's way back. Wait, is that Moira or was that Sam? put my Discord orb usually on the tank because that's the person who has the most health and that's who can take the most damage. That's a kind of a... So you can also recognize the poor decisions of your enemies. Oh no, I'm dead. That was really cool. I want to see it from his perspective. Alright, so he blows up. Oh, this might be play of the game. Oh, that was really good. Darn, I like saw him right out of the corner of my eye and I'm like, I'm dead. But anyways, back to mistakes. So like, if you're only focusing on the mistakes you see your teammates making, I feel like this game becomes a lot less fun. Because you're like sitting here just like, oh, if only they did this or they did that. But really, all you can really control is, and I can say really 100 times in one sentence if I want, but all you can control is your actions. And so remembering that you're not perfect and that you're making mistakes in the game can be really, really helpful. So we're defending now. I like Zenyatta on defense. I don't mind playing him again either. Though I will say, a mild thing that annoys me is, oh, I got called out? Toasty, can you DPS? Did someone on my team call me out? I need healing? Was that it? I don't know. I guess it's the Reaper saying that he needs healing. I want to know who called me out. Was it you?
I don't know. That was from like 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, I don't remember 3 minutes ago. I don't know who I want to play. I kind of want to play Ana again. We don't need it as much. Even Mercy. Mercy and Zen is an okay combo. Because Mercy's like flying around, and so she can be tough to heal for certain heroes like Lucio and Ana. And also Brigitte. But for Zenyatta, because I can heal somebody just by throwing my orb on them. I don't really love this thing. I don't really love that we're just kind of sitting up here. There we go. I'm trying to get my Discord on somebody. I probably shouldn't be focusing on them. Wait, we won? We killed them all? Alright. Oh, I just blew up that Widow. That felt good. Okay, heal them. Let's back on my other team. I'm trying to stay like mobile and kind of trying to move around a lot. Because I don't really want to be in this big ball here because that... Ugh, okay, don't want to get hooked by him either though. Because if I'm in that big ball, I get hit by AoE damage and stuff too. Alright, so he's coming up. The Discord orb is going to return. I want to heal. I couldn't see the Mercy to heal her, which is kind of annoying. Oh, I just blew him up too. I'm getting some good headshots with Zenyatta here. Just trying to get my healing off. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so many headshots. This is nasty. I'm a terrible human being. Now I have my ult, which is really good. I've gotten quite a few good kills with Zenyatta here. Alright, I want to back up. I need to be careful that Zenyatta could probably, or that Genji could come and just kill me. Alright, double kill. I just got a double kill? Alright. I'm having a really good game here. This is like different supports do different things. Like in this case, this support, he does a lot of, like, he's better at like dishing out damage than a lot of the other supports you've been playing. Oh, Genji's on me. Yep, I'm dead. I probably could have panic queued because my queue is tranquil. What is it? Why can't I remember what the name of it is? Ooh, everybody's dead. Everybody's dead. Genji's about to die. Alright, not Genji. Ah, I keep getting the names mixed up. Alright. Oh, she's dead. Okay, so Are we gonna go in? Are we not? Arissa seems to want to go in. Yep. Alright, well. Everyone go in. Our Reinhardt's not going. Oh no, I jumped down. That was really funny. So okay, I'll go through my decision making. I was up there. I saw she was about to die. I decided, what if I jump down and use Tranquiliquance? Why can't I remember the name of that? Tranquilance? I thought, what if I jump down and heal her? She'll live. And then I saw she was purple, but I was already falling. And then I was dead. Purple, in that case, means that she couldn't be healed. Get in there! Oh, I suck. Wow, so I went from like having a really good game, and now this is bad. Bad stuff. At least that Ana was way overextended. Darn it. I killed the Ana though. Hello, Play Scholar. Oh, I'm walking into the wall clicking the Twitch chat. Shoot, they're gonna get the second checkpoint with like no resistance. Well, now's our chance to go in. We need to go in now. So here I'm taking a super passive angle. I just want to be killing people. Ooh, did we just spend this? Well, Ryan is dead. And I don't want to say it's like, I just like, that's like my barometer for success. If Ryan dies, then usually that means we're gonna win because they lost their big gigantic shield. So I want to get up there. How do I get up there? Are there like a stairs up there? How do you get? Oh yeah, there it is. All right. Narcoton was a. Oh Jesus, people up here. I didn't know this. Wait, they got it? Oh no! I'm all alone. I'm gonna die. I didn't know they got it. I thought that I was like, they didn't. I thought we had blocked it like right in front of it. That's okay. This happens. I'm still doing the most healing. And did I take it? I must have taken the long way around. This was bad. All right, so I don't want to go that way. Okay. Here. Typically projectile heroes will do more damage than his scans, like just pure damage, like their shots will do more damage than his scans, just because it's harder to land the projectiles than it is to land the other one. Alright. Where we have to, alright, we can't let them get it all the way over there. We can do this. They only have 2 minutes. He's coming around. I can see where he is. I got wall hacks on, but I don't want to spend too much time because I want to support my teammates mostly. But the thing is, oh, he got him. Good job, Reaper. Okay. That means that it's like 5v6 right now, and numbers advantage is obviously a big deal. If you have numbers on your opponent, you just are afforded a lot more opportunity to make mistakes. So typically you always want to engage a ticker assist. So I'm staying back here because I want to stay kind of by these two because they're a good team. This is like it's like World War I right here. Like we got a trench warfare going on right here. And so like this Junkrat, he's really trying to. Oh no! All right, heal him up. He died. That's bad. I want to back up. Try not. Genji got me. That's okay. That went bad, but it could have gone worse. Everyone died. I feel like I don't think I made perfect decisions. I think I should have used my Q a little earlier, but ultimately, I feel like I did a lot to help the team at that particular time. I will say, ooh, I just got a kill. That's really good. Getting picks like right before a team fight is so important, especially because we're down 1 right now too. see me, I'm kind of just spamming bullets here, and part of that is just because like I'm just trying to clip an enemy. Ooh, that enemy's really low. Got her. Okay. Good job, team. Wrecking ball. So the Discord orb is so impactful there when there's just like one big tank, like just enhancing all that damage, and we win. Wait, did we make it all the way? 3-2. Oh, we did make it all the way. Wait, did we? I will endorse this Reinhardt as he's a good teammate. He was helpful. I am somebody who endorsed me. Yeah, that was good. Awesome. GG, well played. Ah, look at me. I'm sitting here on the thing. I'm gonna commend myself. I had a good game. And it wasn't on the play of the game, but I had quite a few really good headshots in that game. So we're gonna switch over to watching some professional Overwatch now from the Overwatch League. Any final thoughts?
No, I'm ready to talk about some pro sporting.
Yes. All right. So the Overwatch.
There's many different modes of play for Overwatch. So which ones are most popular for pro?
What do you mean by? Oh,
Like,
well.
is it the quick play versus like 4v4?
Oh, just competitive play straight up. And so Overwatch is kind of unique in its setup of its. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the game up, and I'll start playing it, and then Overwatch is kind of unique in. Oops, we don't want the volume on. Overwatch is kind of unique in the setup of its competitive play for a couple of reasons. One, it's got actually like the largest team size of any esport, I believe. There's a lot of 5-man team esports like Dota and League of Legends and Counter-Strike, but not 6 is a lot. So like obviously soccer has more, or American football has more players on a team, but 6 is quite a bit. So that creates a thing that's unique about Overwatch esports. But another thing that's unique is that Overwatch esports is almost entirely run in what we'd call the traditional American sports model of competitive sports. So that was a really good sentence. But so like if you think about the NBA or the NFL, there's a bunch of teams. They're geographically located, and they there's like a draft, and they play each other, right? And stuff like that. All right. Now that's not the case for a lot of esports. If we look at StarCraft 2, right, it's 1v1, so you don't really have teams, right? If you look at a game like Dota, the teams are just after organizations, like an esports organization or something like that. If you look at same thing with like CS:GO, it's just an esports organization. But as we see in the top left and the top right here, we got the London Spitfire against the New York Excelsior. So while all the games almost exclusively take place in LA, and yes, I know that they do sometimes do like road games and stuff, where like they go somewhere and like they play games in like a stadium somewhere. But Kelly is on the couch. Yeah. She wasn't feeling well with the way that Overwatch looked on the TV. It was giving her a headache, and she's got allergies too, I believe.
Yep, I typed it out just like in slow rest, and you said it.
But anyways, and so. Even though most games are played in LA, the teams are still have geographical locations, and it's like a league style where like all the teams play each other, and then like there's like a playoffs and stuff like that. As opposed to a game like Counter-Strike, where you just have like a big tournament once a year, or like not once a year, but you have like the major or like a major, which will happen a couple times a year, and then there's like some qualifying for the major and stuff like that. Or you might have something like StarCraft, where it's a league play, but since it's only individuals, it's more like it's just a tournament where it's like a bracket where you just gotta keep winning to get to the bottom. Same thing with Super Smash Brothers, as we saw. With Dota, and it's the same way. League of Legends does have more of a league format, which is I don't know if that's ironic, but League of Legends has the more league format, but they don't have geographically located teams. So all that to say, that's one of the unique things about Overwatch esports, is like there was a really concerted effort from the very beginning that Overwatch is going to be an esport, or at least this is what Blizzard, the creators of Overwatch, really wanted. And so they set about like having different like real sports organizations, such as the New England Patriots own the Boston team. And I don't know if the New England Patriots do, or if the owners, I should say the owners of the New England Patriots own the Boston team. I can't remember the name of the Boston team. But so that's the case with quite a few of these teams, is that their owners are like, it's got a much more just traditional, what we'd expect from I don't want to call them real world sports, active sports, physically active sports that occur. Anyways, so let's get into this game. So they're playing, we actually played 2 games on this map, which is pretty good. So we can kind of get an idea of this. And they're playing, they move so fast. But so, and this kind of leads into my first talking point with competitive Overwatch. This is like, of the games that we have played for this show, this is the one I watched the least competitive play. And the reason why is that it's so chaotic, it's so hard to tell what's going on. Like right now, there are 10 other players, but we were just looking at one guy aiming at one guy, right? And then you're constantly switching back and forth. I find this can be a little too chaotic to be easy to spectate. Now, they do a pretty good job of, in a lot of different ways. Like sometimes you'll see like a wider angle shot. They'll try to pick somebody who's a little more removed from the action so you can see different things. But it's still like is a huge issue of just viewability. It can be kind of low a little bit for Overwatch esports, and at least in my experience. But what's interesting is I don't think this is a problem for shooter games in general, because I think Counter-Strike is one of the most entertaining of all of the esports, like in terms of just as a spectator sport. But that's, I think, because its format is much more limited. It's 5v5 and there's no respawning between rounds. So like you die, it's out. So like, the game is continually getting less and less players, so it's easier to keep track of all of the action. As opposed to here, where it's just a cacophony of just things going on. And so I'll do my best. I'm just going to try to commentate this next section of the game. So we've got the Spitfire are the ones pushing, and they're really low on their ults, but so are the New York Excelsior. So we're not bound to see like a real big defined team fight where teams really want to poke at each other until they have an ultimate ready. Now we see Junkrat does have his ult ready, but his ult is generally going to be used more in tandem with others. And so that's one of the things that I didn't talk a lot about when we were playing, but ultimate economy is really important, which is using your ultimates well and using them sometimes in conjunction with others. So there we got the Riptide comes in, gets 1 kill. Now I would say in pubs or like the games that we were playing at a lower level, getting only 1 kill with the Riptide maybe not as good. But in these games, where everyone is really good, and especially not dying, getting a single kill opens up. Now it's a 6v5. Your team has a pretty big advantage. And here we see a lot of ultimates have gone down. A lot of people are dying. The D.Va here is diving on. So like D.Va has a lot of mobility. So what she will often want to do is to dive onto those supports, because supports typically have less defensive options and have little HP. So if you're a very mobile hero, taking out the supports is like it's like killing the economy in StarCraft. Like a game we played like last month. In StarCraft, you have this economy and you're gaining resources constantly. And if you kill their workers, they no longer have an economy. They can't build units. It's kind of similar in terms of killing supports on the other team, because supports are healing, and that's such an important resource. Because if you can't heal, then the other team's just going to whittle you away. And if one team can't heal and the other team can't, that's really, really, you have a big advantage. And so killing supports is often the name of the game. And so high mobile heroes are often the favorite of really talented players because they can get in and out. There's more opportunity to maybe quote-unquote out-skill your opponent with a highly mobile hero. That doesn't mean that non-mobile heroes are bad by any means. But for instance, we see in this game, we've got on the Spitfire, we've got Genji and Tracer as their 2 DPS heroes. And I would say those are 2 of the higher skill cap heroes in the game. Position matters so much, I agree, Ryan. It can really be like an ultra fast-paced chess match, absolutely. It's the aspect that keeps my interest over other shooters. positioning is really important, and that's something that we definitely did talk a lot about today in terms of like what angle are you taking with your hero, and like trying to have the enemy come to you, and like if you're out of position, you really can cost your team a lot, especially if you're going to go too far forward without support from your teammates. So positioning can be really important, and we see that these guys are really good at positioning. Look at this passive angle they're all taking. So they all hug the wall. The closer you are to the wall, the further you can go out before the enemy can shoot at you. And so like that's just an example of really good positioning. And like you want to be able to hide behind stuff. You want to have escape routes, right? If you're just standing in the middle of a room and somebody starts shooting at you, I wish they had a comeback voice line. I agree. They do have a like gather at my position voice line. So here it's getting really scrappy. So I'd say the end of Overwatch games can get really scrappy, like because everyone wants to be on top of that thing. Now because it's overtime, the Spitfire, the white team, have to be touching the payload, and meanwhile, if they're touching the payload and the other team is not, then it's going to be moving and is really close to its objective. Retreat would be good too, I agree, Ryan. And so Spitfire fans going crazy, they got their big hats. I really want some water.
Would you like me to lift your bottle?
I would really appreciate that, thank you. Or you could just commentate if you'd like while I go get some water.
I don't trust myself to not puke if I watch that screen.
Fair enough. And so now we're going to be swapping. The team that was attacking the Spitfire is going to be now defending. And I like that format. That's actually really, if you're familiar with other shooters, such as Counter-Strike or Teamfighter 2, both of them have the same conceit, which is interesting because it's not a conceit in StarCraft or in League of Legends or in other mobile games. But the conceit I'm talking about is where you swap sides. So one team attacks, one team defends, and then you swap. So for instance, in Counter-Strike, which we'll probably be playing in 2 weeks' time, I won't be here next week. I'm going to Florida. But in Counter-Strike, you have the terrorists and the counter-terrorists. And the terrorists are trying to plant a bomb, and they've got 2 locations where they can do it, and the counter-terrorists are trying to stop them. And so you have to like kind of defend both locations. And what you do is you play 15 rounds, then you swap. You do the same thing in this game, and you do the same thing in Team Fortress 2, where you play a round where one team's like the attacker and one team's the defender, and then you swap. And I think that creates some really dynamic and kind of clutch gameplay, because it can be really easy for the viewer to understand, or the player in this case, to understand like what they need to do, because they need to beat whatever the other team had done on their previous run. And so here we've got, let's look at the team compositions. The Spitfire are switching it up. They've now got a Widow. Both teams have a Widowmaker here. And what I'm finding interesting is that Widowmaker is a sniper. And so she excels at killing people over long distances, especially if someone's got really good aim. But what's interesting is that they're only playing Widow on both sides in this beginning section. And I think the reason why is because this is really wide open. There's really long, they might not be corridors, but there's really long kind of alleyways or viewpoints where you could try to shoot somebody from far away. Whereas much of the other level is winding paths, and those winding paths make it more difficult. But here we see some hallmarks of really good play. So Widowmaker has this grappling hook, and we can see that who is this, Pine? He's like jumping up at the grappling hook and then peeking over a corner and then kind of shooting down. Blue swap to Hanzo. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No.
And so this is like an example of something that like I could not do this with like the grappling hook, like jump up and then get a headshot from really far away. He just headshot Prophet. Oh my god. It's like, and so like, oh geez, but that gives me a headache, man. He was really going wild.
It's especially nice seeing like people who are pros at the character that you enjoy playing the most.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely can be the case. Less so for a game like Dota.
Yeah.
But in certain team-based games or just character-based games like fighters and stuff too. It's like I love, like my favorite character to watch in Smash is Mars, who is this really good Zero Suit Samus player, because Zero Suit Samus is my favorite character. And I really love watching like Diva players because I really like playing Diva or Ana. I think Jajonik, who's playing, he's playing actually Roadhog right now, but I believe he's a really good, if I recall correctly, he's a really good Ana player too. Pine is a good Ana player too. a lot of, if you're good at aim, you're probably a pretty good Ana player. The thing is, Ana's like super high skill cap because she can, in theory, she can heal faster than anyone else, but you have to land all your shots.
Yeah.
And so here we've got a little low, and now both teams are still playing Widow here. I'm wondering when they'll switch off. But you see, like, team comp can be reliant even just on the part of the map that you're in. The team comps are really very similar. Is there any difference? There's no difference. Oh no, there is a difference. One team is playing with Zenyatta, and the other team just has Mercy. They're only playing with one support. So wait, who's missing? Diva. Oh, the Roadhog, duh. Okay. So pretty similar comps. And this can happen at higher level play, I think, more than in lower level games. Because in higher level play, these players are so good with all of the heroes that they're going to play who they think is best for this scenario. Whereas in lower level play, like today, I never played Mercy because I don't like playing Mercy, right? The motion of this game is wicked weird. It's actually kind of hard to watch. Yeah, that's what we were talking. I think you were here, Play Scholar, when I started. Yeah, I find that Overwatch is a very difficult spectator sport, at least comparatively to other esports. RoboMofo, the amount of time people put in games like this really fascinates me. I did some research into coaching services and tutorial videos for conferencing last year. There's countless people making a living on this game. Oh yeah, definitely. If you're a content creator or a professional player, you can make a living playing competitive games. And that's the case for a lot of games. Like StarCraft, there's a lot of people who make a living playing that, or Hearthstone, or any games. And I think that it's a lot like regular sports, where I think if you're in the entertainment sells ads, and ads make a lot of money. That, like, generally speaking. And so, in the case of like esports, it's just, or any other sports, it's just like salaries just keep growing and growing typically. And I think part of it is because live sports have become like one of the best ways to sell advertisements in recent years, because like we've seen like television numbers being dwindling, especially in part because of the rise of things like Hulu or Netflix, or YouTube even. Like all of those are different consumptions of media, or video games even, different consumptions of media that that take attention away from like just, and that are all also at the home. They take attention away from television and television ads. But live sports, people want to watch live. People want to watch them on their television. And so the ad revenue for those keeps going up and up and up. That means people make more and more and more money. It becomes a bigger and bigger industry. I think esports is similar in the sense that people want to watch like these games like live, because I find an enjoyment in watching esports after the fact more so than regular sports, but especially in regular sports. I think that there's just like if you're coming in late, right, and you're like let's say I watch like a Detroit Lions game, like I'm a big Detroit Lions fan from like 2004. Like I already know who won, right? It becomes a lot less enjoyable to watch. And so I think that because of that, sports like Overwatch League or Counter-Strike or whatever, just like the players, the team managers, the people, the commentators, the content creators, the coaches, all those things, they make just lots and lots of money. And that leads to like an industry being kind of built around them. And I think that that's part of the reason why I think that esports are really worth talking about, is not just because there's a lot of money, but because that money means that lots of people are enjoying watching these. And this is like becoming a really important entertainment that is unique to the 21st century, which is why we're doing this in the Center for 21st Century Studies. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, a player's salary is really high. If you're interested, there's since we're in between rounds for just a sec.
I'm just looking at the top. Jesus Christ.
So if you go to esportsearnings.com.
$200,000.
So if we look at esportsearning.com, we can look at like players, and you can do it by game. So more like the highest paying. Look at this. The top. This is prize money. Now this is actually worth noting. So this is like money from winning tournaments, as opposed to like from a salary, like we see. I'll get to your question in just a sec, Ryan. But we can see here that like people make lots and lots of money. And Dota 2 is because there's a big tournament every year that just makes tons and tons and tons of money. Called the International. which has like huge like $20 million prize pools, and it's pretty top heavy. So like you look at a player like Kuroki, he probably just won 2 internationals, and now he's made a lot of money. You can go to particular games though, and it can be useful to understand. Like, so the top 5 games are Dota 2, Counter-Strike, League of Legends, Fortnite, and StarCraft 2 in terms of prize money allotted to players. But let's go ahead and ask your question, or answer your question, Ryan. Is it a fair statement that these players come and go rather quickly? I feel like I'm seeing rather retirement announcement every other week. How long is a typical career for the non-superstar? I think it really depends on the game and the context. Like, I look at a game like StarCraft 2, and like, there are players who I know have been playing since like 2012 and are still playing in the GSL. And so they've been like pro players for like 7 years.
The average career length is a year to 2 years.
In the Overwatch League?
It just says in esports in general.
Yeah, I'd like to see like how they got to that number, but that doesn't sound too unreasonable. I think a lot of people are gonna float in and fail. I mean, if you look at like, fail is a really strong word, and not be able to make it from a monetary standpoint. That's what I mean when I say fail. I don't mean like fail like they're trashy players or they're bad at the game or anything like that.
That's a quote from the owner of the Counter-Logic Gaming.
Oh yeah, that Counter-Logic Gaming is a pretty big esports organization. No, that doesn't surprise me too much. I think because like while there is a lot of money, it's, as with all sports, it tends to be very top heavy. The players making the most money tend to stick around, but if you're not making enough to make ends meet, players who make the most money make a lot more money than others. Like think about it in terms of like basketball. LeBron is worth a lot more than like even like 5 average players, right? And so you're gonna pay LeBron the salary of 5 to 10 average players, right? And so the best players will obviously stick around a lot more. But yeah, I would believe the 1 or 2 years thing. It really does depend, I think, on the game. Like a game like Super Smash Brothers as well has like very high longevity. Like you look at a player like Mewtwo King, he's been playing competitively since like 2007, and he's made a career out of it. And so, and I know that it might feel like I'm just picking out exceptions. I'm sure there's lots, but I guess there's also a difference between players who play an esports title and make a living off of it, or players who play an esports title and it's like a side thing. So I think with a lot of Smash players, I think they have normal jobs and then they just do tournaments on weekends because there's because you don't have to be playing every day. Whereas in this case with the Overwatch League, if you have a player playing in the Overwatch League, they probably don't have time for any other job or anything like that. Like they just practice Overwatch all day. And I think that a lot of this is handed down, or at least a lot of the attitudes towards practice and stuff are handed down from the Koreans. Actually, Koreans were the first to really get into esports, and in particular StarCraft 2. And I don't want to like stereotype and say, oh, Koreans have a really good work ethic, and so I don't want to like assume any cultural baggage or anything. But it is a fact that Korean esports players will practice like 10 hours a day, like just absurd amounts of practice a day. Like if it was your actual job, it'd be way more than maybe way more hours than would be typically expected. We got a Washington Post article here from you. Yeah, and so oh shoot, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about just now?
Amount of hours put into.
Oh yeah. And so like that level of practice, right, where you're playing like 10 hours a day or 12 hours a day, like you can't replicate that if you are also having a 9 to 5, right? And so it depends a lot on the context of like how long a career is. And if you have certain games that don't require as much practice to stay on top, or have tournaments only a couple times a year, I think it's easier to be a high-level player in those games and compete in these kind of tournaments or leagues. But if you're like competing in a league that plays, every week, like the Overwatch League and stuff like that, it becomes like a different story. And so context becomes really important. And I suppose you could say the same thing for a lot of different sports. Like if you look at like golf is a lot different in terms of what it looks like for the average career player, right? Than like American football, right? And so part of it has to do with like the way that the body can handle these things too. Shooting games typically, I think, will gear towards younger audiences because as you turn like 25 or 26, I'll answer that question just like very good question, Ryan. As you turn like 25 or 26, your reaction time starts to fade a little bit. And then by the time you're like, let's say by the time you're 40, your ability to like instantly react, which as you can see, watching people play like this game in slow motion still seems like really fast to me. And so, sometimes streaming can be hard because I'm like trying to focus on like 4 different things at once. But anyways, so with shooting games and games that require really twitchy movement and reactions, so those tend to gear towards younger people because younger people have better reaction times just as a whole. That doesn't mean there can't be a 35-year-old with really good reaction times. That said, let's go ahead and physical toll this takes some players. And Kelly has already been posting some links and stuff. Lots of repetitive stress injuries, arthritis, which is part of the reason why, like, if you practice too much, that can be really bad for your body. I'm just gonna hold this up for a sec. There's a lot of different things you can do to mitigate the stress of playing these on your body. Now, for a professional player, hopefully they're doing these kind of things. But for instance, just a really simple one is like, I'm trying to put this up on the camera, is like the way that you hold the mouse. So if you're holding the mouse like this, and you're resting your palm and you're only using your wrist to move around like this, that's very bad for your body because then the only muscles being used are right there. Meanwhile, if you hold it a little further up and you use your whole arm to move around and you only use your wrist for fine-tuned movements, that's an example of how you can reduce your risk for like arthritis or other things from playing competitive games. A game like Super Smash Brothers where you have to hold the controller in a particular way, like doing like stretches like this where you hold it out and you like just do this for like 20 seconds, you do like this for 20 seconds, that can be really useful for just like helping stretch out those muscles and stuff. So there definitely are, I don't know if there's injury reports in the same way, there probably are. I know that in like certain games like StarCraft, you have players who like just take a break because they're in pain or they get surgery because they have arthritis or something like that. So it definitely can have a physical toll on the body. Specifically though, it's mostly hand injuries and wrist injuries. I think wrist is probably the most common. Obviously not as severe of injuries as you might see in a game like American football where you could break your arm, right? I'm not trying to like compare illnesses, but I just say like arthritis from a repetitive stress movements is probably a lot less traumatic at least than like breaking your leg on a football field or tearing your ACL. And a lot of times the arthritis, when you're very young, if you start to develop arthritis, stopping playing can be really good. But I think because this kind of came about because we were talking about retirement, I think that for the most part, what I've seen at least, retirement tends to not be because of injuries. That doesn't mean that there aren't players who retire because of injuries. Just typically, I tend to see players retire for other reasons. For instance, the best Smash Brothers player in the world, he retired last year, and he retired just because he'd rather be a content creator because the stress of winning tournaments was really high and was taking a toll on him mentally because it was so much practice and stuff. So, but with that,
Hurts.
what?
I said practice hurts.
It can, yeah. And that's one of the things to remember. It's like, yes, in American football, like players like practice, or in soccer, players will practice, but typically practices are pretty well managed to not wear out the players. And I don't think esports is there yet for a lot of their players. And I think part of that has to do with the stigma of like, well, you're just playing League of Legends. Like how, you know what I mean? Like, why can't you just sit there and play all day? And part of that might be because like when I do a marathon Dota session, it might be 4 or 5 hours long, right? And I play like 4 or 5 games. And so those things can contribute to a culture that doesn't take the fact that the human body needs time away from practice as seriously as it should. Perhaps. But also, it just becomes a problem of just a war of attrition, right? Like, it's like, if I'm not practicing and my opponent is, they're gaining an advantage, right? And so, all those things can create sometimes unhealthy practice environments. And we can just see here, just because I was talking about how Koreans are kind of it's like definitely the nation where esports are most concentrated and most viewed as like a sport and something that's spectated and watched and people are interested in. And by virtue of that, Korea is a country of like 50 million people, yet like a lot of the players in this game, despite it being a league of international players from America and Europe and from Asia, a lot of these players are Korean. And if you look at StarCraft, all the best players are Korean. And like if you look at League of Legends, a lot of the best players are Korean. And so I think that's just an interesting thing to bring up, is like the culture that is developed around Korean esports leads to all this practicing, but also leads to a lot of success for these players. And so it's complicated. But it's 5:01. I want to go home. You guys got better things to do. So have a wonderful day. And we'll see you in 2 weeks when we play a new game. This has been Overwatch.